if you're working with Kubernetes or microservices application, at some point you will face some problems like scaling your application. You want to scale your workloads when there is a traffic will happen in your cluster, and suppose you don't want to see idle ports in your cluster because you don't want to lose your money in your infrastructure. And suppose you want to build an event-driven application where a service will react whenever there is an event will happen, or like a get a web trigger or a Kafka message like that. So now Kubernetes can do a lot of these things. But managing this and all things like your workload scaling and all things making very complex with the YAML. You have to manage their routing, then their ingress traffic, their routes, and a lot of things are there. So that's where Knative comes. Knative is an open source cloud native tool, which is a useful tool for your scaling workloads and your event workload as well. You can think it's like a AWS Lambda function, but you are deploying in your cluster. So there is no vendor lock-in, and it's open source cloud native tool. So instead of managing your heavy infrastructure, you just start building and deploying your application with the scaling itself. Now there are some problems are solved by Knative, is the application deployment complexity. You can easily deploy your application from building to deployment is very easy by Knative, and there are a lot of complexity will solve by Knative. Second is like a serverless operation. So you can deploy your serverless workload on your cluster with the Knative, which have like efficient resource utilization. And another, you can deploy your event-driven architecture. You can easily build. There are a lot of example on the website. You can like see on the doc, and you can build your own application. And another is there is a auto scaling feature. When there is a no traffic will happen, it will automatically scale down deployment to 0. And there is a traffic will happen here in your route, or your like user was trying to hit your URL, it will automatically create pods or deployment for you and just serve to the user. There is a platform lock-in. So like there is no platform lock-in feature. Here you can like run Knative on any cluster. Now let's see the architectural overview of Knative, how it works inside the cluster. So Knative provides a platform layer that adds serverless and event-driven capabilities in the cluster. So it's have like major three functions: functions, Knative function, knative-serving, and knative eventing. If you understand three of the things, it will be easier to work with your Knative functions. Knative-serving here providing your running your application and exposing HTTP endpoints. So if you're like running your containerized workload, then it will serve the following things like deploying the application and exposing HTTP points, their routes, their services, scaling pods, scaling to 0, and all things. So instead of like managing your deployment services and routes, it will manage all of things. So now imagine your application want to react when something happens, like hit a web trigger, or SD file uploaded, or your CI/CD pipeline finished. So there's something should be triggered. So that's where knative comes in. It provides event-driven architecture where event sources to event consumer will automatically talk. And there are some components like event sources, broker, trigger, and event consumer. These are the following attributes are there. Now let's see some of the action. We'll deploy a small knative function and serve as a knative-serving. So we need to do that first. We need to install our knative CRDs. So we are going to install the function. That's why we are installing our knative serving CRDs. If you go here and you will find a knative serving. So to run the whole example, you need to first you need to have a first cluster, then a kubectl command line tool, and then a knative CLI tool, which is the PN function. Okay, so the CLI tools you can install from here, depending upon your operating system. So let's install a CRD. So I have my cluster here, and I'm going to deploy custom CRDs here. And this interest part. Then we need to install a networking layer. You can deploy anyone. I'm going to use here HTML. apply it here. You need to apply both here. Then once you deploy, then you can verify things. The things are installable one. Then we are going to deploy a function. So there is one of the easiest way to create a function is the kn func create for that, and then you have to provide your operating system, sorry, your language flavor. So I'm going to use your node my function 2. So saying no command, okay, then I think I need to use this command line to print that node my function 2. Saying there is one function is created, or yes, created a function created. No problem. So if I go inside a function, these are the all files are here. So you can customize it. Okay, so let's see how you can run your testing server here. So to run the server, you need to first just run the command function run, and then your application name. So if you will not provide any name, it will automatically run. So it will asking for a registry for function images. So you can provide your Docker account here. So you need to provide a full path here. So before doing that, you need to first log in with your account. So I have already logged in with my account. So it will take some time to building a function image, then it will upload into your Docker. So it's saying function built on this image, and then it is running over port 8080. You can open this port, and you can customize your code. Okay, so it is serving as on your web browser whenever you request it. Now let's see how you can deploy your function on cluster. To deploy the function on a cluster, you need to run a function deploy, and then you need to provide your the same thing, your repository name, like your. So do that. Let me just take this command function deploy. Okay. So I will pass my registry name here, docker.io, and my Docker username. If you are also facing this issue that your function image is unreachable, so that means you have not created any secrets in your cluster. So you need to create a secret for authentication to your cluster. Okay, so let me create a secret. Let me take this terminal because I am going to paste my some credentials over here. Okay, so secret is created. Now let me create a secret, and now let's link secret default service account. Let's link the secret default service account. Okay. Now let's try again the function creation. it is deploying function to cluster, and it's deployed. So now if you do kubectl get svc, you will get the function is deployed. And let's check the revision. So as you know, my function 2 kubectl get deploy, kubectl get out, there's a replica set revision serving. Now things are there. There is a one invoke URL is given. So let me just trigger the URL. But before that, if you go to the browser and hit this URL, you will see that it's not able to load. So you need to make because it's my local package, so I need to use my local PC. So I need to make it. So the problem I was facing that because it's my mini kube cluster, I need to did some configuration of my local DNS cluster. So just patch the configmap domain. I will share the command with you so that you can also do the same procedure. But let's see if I like deploy the functions. This is my function to name, and if I do function deploy, and what is the registry here? Registry docker. Okay. So just copy that and put down here. So it will deploy a new cluster, and so push on we will talk about as well. So as you see, it's say function deployed in namespace default and it's posted at URL. And if I check the URL in the browser, you will see the response. You can customize your application. So if I check the revision here and check the KSVC, it's showing my function 2 is running and the status is ready, true. And kubectl get deploy and then default. So it's saying one by one it is up and running, right? And if I give it some time, and I will not give a traffic any in my deployment, so it will reduce it to 0. And let's see a revision. Revision is basically when you did changes over your code and you try to republish your deploy your code on your Kubernetes cluster, then it will make a separate revision for the following build. So if I go to the diagram, so serving one knative-serving. So this is my service, my function. There is a route where the following route people can access, and there is a configuration. If you did some configuration changes, so it will make a revision. It's like a history. It was making records in form of records, right? Now let's see. I will also rebuild the revision, but first let's check the kubectl get deploy. Is it going back to 0 by 0? So as you can see, it's going back to 0 by 0 state. It means there is no any container and pods are running, and I need to build a traffic again to build the deployment in the cluster, right? So if I go over the browser and hit this so it was taking time, and after some refreshing it is available now. If I check deployment, so it is up now one by one. So that's why it is serverless function, which definitely save your cost in your cluster. So now let's the revision. So I did the changes over my index.js file. Let me just change something. So I'm doing some changes over my industry.js file. It is saying this is hello name and timestamp this. Now let's test with the query parameter. So yeah, it is now the file is. Let me edit the file. Okay, file is already edited. So now let me just redeploy the function over the cluster. So you need to run the same command, function deploy registry and then build. So now it's redeploying, debuilding and redeploying all the cluster. So this is the revision 2. So it's asking for credentials. Okay. So it's saying the function is updated in namespace default. Now if I check the reason, there is function revision 2 is updated and the actual replica 1 desired 1 deploy faq do deploy -n default. It is saying that there is a function user deployment is working even if I run the. Okay, so as you see, I just hit the URL again with some query parameter which I sent. So it's saying that the lower timestamp and the method is requested is get. Right, so that's how you can also control your revision on your code. So yeah, I hope you found this video helpful and you got a clear understanding how Knative works to serve your application, serverless application, and event-driven application with the autoscaling and override graphics really like that. So yeah, that's it for the video. I will see you in another video. Till then, happy learning.